I never thought a quiet summer evening on my lakeside property would turn into a full-blown standoff with the HOA and their queen bee. Last night, I stocked my private lake with a few harmless nurse sharks for a permitted wildlife study. This morning, Melissa Hart marched down with her kids, and when I calmly told her to keep them out of the water, she dialed 911 like I'd set a trap. My name is Evan Sawyer. I live on 12 acres with a lake I've spent years turning into a balanced little ecosystem after retiring early as a wildlife consultant. It's my sanctuary, Old Doc. Black coffee, wind in the cottonwoods. For months I'd planned a unique observation project. Introduce a handful of juvenile nurse sharks, bottom dwellers, docile, easily monitored. With permits in hand and safety protocols set, my friends Dr. Aaron Blake and Dr. Kim Rhodes, both marine biologists, and I moved the sharks in at midnight. For feet long at most, gliding under moonlight like slow shadows. It felt magical and completely under control. Then Melissa happened. If you've ever met an HOA tyrant, you know the type. Self-appointed, never actually elected, materializes wherever control is needed. The next morning I was taking notes when I heard it. Noah, grab your floaties. Chloe, slow down. I turned and saw Melissa power walking toward my shoreline, kids in beach gear. In tow like she owned the place. Morning, Melissa, I said evenly. We're just letting the kids swim, she chirped, that condescending tone that could curdle milk. Not today, I replied. I'm running a wildlife project. The lake is closed for swimming. She squinted. Closed? You don't close nature. Kids have always swum here. They've swum here without asking, I said, pointing to the posted private property signs. This is my lake, fully deeded. What did you do? Put piranhas in there, she mocked. Juvenile nurse sharks, I said. Harmless if left alone. But I don't want anyone in the water. She crossed her arms. We'll see about that. By late afternoon she returned with reinforcements, 3 SUVs, a mini beach encampment, and 2 HOA buddies, including Olivia Grant and their kids. One boy splashed a foot in the shallows. Out, please, I called. Now. Evan, you're scaring the kids, Olivia snapped. They should be scared of trespassing, I said. Sharks can nip if kicked or grabbed. So it is dangerous, Melissa crowed. That's enough for me. Calling 911. She made the call on speaker, narrating like it was a hostage. Crisis. Yes, officer, actual sharks. Children are present. We're at Cedar Lake Estates. When the patrol car rolled up, Officer Daniels and Officer Reed stepped out. I handed over my folder. Permits, deed, project plan, insurance. Everything's in order, Officer Reed said, flipping pages. You can't be serious, Melissa sputtered. Ma'am, Officer Daniels replied. This is an HOA. Common area. It's private property. You and your friends need to leave. Her cheeks went red. She gathered Noah and Chloe with a glare sharp enough to cut glass. This isn't over, she hissed. Cedar Lake Estates HOA will be hearing about this. They left. The officers apologized for the nonsense and told me to call if it happened again. I knew Melissa wouldn't quit. Sure enough, that night her SUV idled near my drive like a sentry. I checked the water. Sharks healthy, cruising peacefully. Sanctuary restored, for the moment. By morning, my inbox exploded. Urgent safety. Concern, shark incident at Cedar Lake Estates. Melissa had blasted the neighborhood list, calling me reckless and claiming the lake was a shared resource. I replied once, calm, factual, with my deed, permits, and a short explanation. Nurse sharks are bottom feeders. All activity is approved by the county. Please don't trespass or spread misinformation. Curiosity replaced panic. A few neighbors called to ask questions, but Melissa doubled down, demanding an emergency HOA meeting and hinting at legal action. Time to take the gloves off. My trail cameras, which I use for wildlife, had captured everything. Her kids waiting, my warnings, her 911 call. I downloaded the clips. That evening, a knot of neighbors gathered at the cul-de-sac on Birch Hollow Court. Melissa, Olivia, a couple of dads, and the HOA Vice President Derek Wells. I opened my laptop and played the footage. Quiet trespass becomes loud accusation. When it ended, you could hear the breeze. Melissa, Derek asked, arms folded. Is this accurate? He's making it look worse, she muttered. We have a right to the lake. No, you don't, I said, holding up the survey map. The lake is entirely on my deed. The HOA never owned a drop. Maybe we should let this go, Olivia said, finally uncomfortable. That night, Derek emailed. We've reviewed property lines and permits. You're fully within your rights. The HOA will take no action. First round, 1. But I wasn't naive. 2 days later, a parade of SUVs returned, clipboard brigade in tow. Derek looked apologetic. Melissa looked triumphant. We're here to evaluate safety concerns, she announced. You don't evaluate private land, I said. But fine, come see. On the dock, I pointed to the slow silhouettes below. Juvenile nurse sharks. 2-week study. Monitored with Dr. Blake and Dr. Rhodes. All legal. They're smaller than I expected, said board member Linda Park, peering into the water. Still a liability, Melissa snapped. If someone gets bit, the HOA is exposed. Incorrect, I said. I carry the liability. You have no jurisdiction. Derek, I asked. Our counsel agrees, he sighed. We can't regulate this. I cued the trail cam clip again, the part where Melissa ignored keep out signs and waved her kids into the shallows. The only risk is caused by repeated trespass, I said. Keep stepping over my line, and I'll file my own complaint. Silence. Linda shook her head. This has gone too far. Melissa leaned in, voice icy. You'll regret this. The next morning, I woke to hammering. Melissa and 2 volunteers were planting a hand-painted billboard half on my frontage. Warning, dangerous sharks, do not enter. That's coming down, I said. Snapping photos. It's on my land. Go ahead, call the cops, she smirked. Let's see how they feel about your exotic pets. I've got video of your trespass, harassment, and false statements. I said, and I'll share it with the sheriff. Her smile wobbled. Everyone's on my side. Great, I said. Then you won't mind if everyone comes by tonight to see the truth. I emailed the neighborhood. Curious about the shark problem? Come by at 6 p.m. I'll answer questions and show permits. A dozen people came. Derek, Olivia, skeptical dads, teenagers eager for a glimpse. Melissa stood off to the side, arms folded. On the dock, we watched the sharks drift like living commas in amber water. They're beautiful, one dad said, surprised. It's about respect. I told them. Respect wildlife and respect property lines. Would anyone like to see the deed? I asked. I've seen it, Derek said. The lake is Evans. The HOA has no authority here. Murmurs. Eyes shifted to Melissa. You told us the HOA owned it, Olivia said. Did you even check? I was protecting the neighborhood, Melissa stammered. From what? Derek asked. A legal project? You owe Evan, and all of us, an apology. She had no comeback. She spun on her heel and left. From there, the tide turned. Derek and the board visited my porch the next weekend, without Melissa. I handed a neat folder, permits, maps, the letter from the Hillside County Wildlife Department confirming authorization and public safety, plus the trail cam timeline. We're done being dragged into this, Derek said. Linda added, we can call a special vote to remove a board member creating unnecessary conflict. You have the votes? I asked. Derek smiled. We do now. By week's end, Melissa Hart was voted off the Cedar Lake Estates HOA board after a meeting reportedly featuring tears and slammed doors. A body cam review also earned her a citation for false emergency reporting, hefty fine, and a warning that the next stunt could be criminal. The next time I saw her, she kept to the far sidewalk, eyes down, the swagger gone. I didn't gloat. A nod was enough. With the noise gone, the project hummed. The sharks thrived, data rolled in clean. When we wrapped, I hosted a wildlife evening, barbecue, Q&A, a simple primer on nurse sharks. Neighbors asked thoughtful questions. Even Olivia pulled me aside. I'm sorry, she said. We should have listened. People fear what they don't understand, I said. But boundaries and facts matter. Nights returned to quiet. Crickets, moonlight, the lake glass still. Not because I won, but because the truth finally outlasted the shouting. Melissa tried control and chaos. Permits, cameras, and patience beat both. This lake isn't just water to me. It's years of sweat, money, learning, and respect. Standing my ground was exhausting at times, but the look on Melissa's face when even the HOA saw through the lies made every headache worth it. Justice isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the hush after a storm, the moment the water settles and reflects the sky again. And on my shore, that quiet is back where it belongs.